Can I share a word? That's okay.
Please do. Do you have your word in?
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't know if it was okay for me to say it or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
My word is compassion for
Mm.
self and for others. After the call yesterday, I phoned my dad, just to have a
Mm.
talk with him. 'Cause we haven't spoken around 2, 3 weeks. And as I was speaking to him, I could see the family pattern of punishment. Um, my dad's been homeless for nearly 3 years, maybe longer. And he sofa surfs a lot, like sleeps on people's sofas. And he's not actively trying to get a place. Like he's not trying to get a home at all. And I was like saying to him, what are you actually trying to do to get a home? What are you actively doing? Basically, he's doing nothing. And in that moment, I saw that he's choosing to be homeless. He doesn't actually want to go home. And I saw he's doing it because he's punishing himself. And I
Mm.
saw the alcohol because he drinks nearly every day, is a form of punishment. It's a form of self-punishment. And what I saw, because I've been getting a lot of downloads around my family history, what I saw is there's a family pattern on my male side, on my dad's side, where the youngest son feels like the underdog. And I got the image of royalty, like this is hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There's some
Mm.
sort of royal bloodline on my dad's side, which goes back hundreds of years, where the oldest child, the oldest son got the praise and got the riches because the oldest son becomes the king, doesn't he? And the youngest son doesn't get anything and feels like the underdog. So I got an image of the youngest male in my family feeling like the underdog, and because of this, they punish themselves. Because they feel like the underdog, they punish themselves. So on my male side, on my dad's side, there's a family pattern of self-punishment on the youngest child, self-punishment and guilt. And in that moment when I saw my dad was choosing to be homeless, and I saw that it's the family pattern of the youngest male punishing himself, because on my dad's side, my Uncle Phil, he's I also saw that my Uncle Phil, my dad's brother, he's a school teacher. He's got like this really like good life in my dad's eyes because he's got his own home, he's got a good job as a headmaster in a school, he's got the perfect family, the perfect children. This is in my dad's eyes. So my dad feels like the underdog. to my brother. He feels like my brother's the superior one. Because he used to say to me as well, his brother got to go to private school where his parents sent him to public school. So there's something around the youngest male and punishment. And I'm the youngest male as well, and my family's the youngest child. So that's why I inherited the pattern of punishment. So yeah, when I spoke to my dad, I just felt this wave of compassion for both him and myself, because I can see that it's a family pattern that he wants to punish himself, and that's why he's choosing to be homeless, and that's why he's choosing alcohol. And I felt compassion for me because I saw it's just a family pattern. And in that moment, I was able to let it go. I chose to let it go.
Mm.
And I just feel a really like a weight lifted now because I've let it go, because I've seen a pattern. And that was partly due to you, Alison, for saying yesterday about family pattern. So thank you. Thank you for helping me see that blind spot.
Thank you for sharing such amazing work.
I suggest an adjustment in language, if you don't mind, Ian.
No, say it as it is.
Okay.
That's how I learn.
Yeah, I heard you say that you inherited this pattern. And more accurate, I would suggest, would be that you are the one designated to resolve that pattern. That
Ooh, I like
generational
that. Thank you.
Yeah. Because, and that's just by virtue of being made aware of it. So you could say, I'm the first one in my family line who's recognized that pattern. And so I've taken responsibility for it, for resolving it in my lifetime. Sound good?
Yeah, I would say I chose to take on this family plan so I could clear it.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Craig. I really appreciate when people say it as it is, because it helps me learn. So I don't mind bluntness. I don't mind people being, I'm not saying that you were being blunt, but I don't mind people being blunt if it's going to help me. So just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just starting to realize that languaging is really important. Like especially using like putting possession on things, like it's my pattern, is not helpful, actually. Or putting ownership on stuff is not helpful. And also be very careful in the use of I am. So if you call yourself an addict, you're identifying with it, and you don't want to be identified with things like addictions or behaviors or anything like that. You want to disidentify with all that stuff. So just some suggestions.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Instead of saying I am, I say my body now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your wisdom. Thank you.
Big love, Ian. That's it's great you're doing that kind of work.
A lot of stuff's been coming through. I got
behalf
another
of yourself
memory.
and your family, especially.
I've been getting quite a lot of downloads, like about money as well, because I wouldn't say I've got money struggles, because I'm grateful for what I've got. I'm on my mind. I've got a roof, I've got food. I'm able to have a little bit of luxury now and again. So I'm not saying that like I haven't got money, but I would like to have a little bit more money. And there's a family pattern about money as well. I got a memory, my mum, she told me this was years and years ago, that you know high school when they have a prom, they have like a prom in high school. My mum was going to go to high school prom and she wanted this dress to go to high school prom. And she asked my nan, and my nan said they haven't got the money for the prom dress, she can't afford it. So my mum had to go in a school uniform, a school trousers, because they didn't have the money to buy a dress. Anyway, I remember my mum telling me there was my mum's words are there was this fit guy in school that everyone fancied, all the girls fancied, and he chose to dance with my mum. And some other girl came up to them and said, "Why are you dancing with the poor girl?" And the guy turned around and said, "Because she's fit. I don't care if she's poor." And then him and my mum danced all night. And I got the message that in my family, in my mum's lineage, in the female, being attractive means that you survive poverty. If you're good looking, you'll survive poverty. So that's where I've chosen to take on the pattern around appearance. That's why I've had issues with my body image because of the pattern of that's coming from my mum's side that attractiveness means that you don't have to be in poverty. And it goes back to on my mum's side where they were really poor and they had to use prostitution to make money. So the better looking they were, the more they got paid for sex. But that's gone back a few hundred years ago on my mum's side. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's really insightful and enlightened. Because when you find those deep motivations behind things, that's the part that's actually being healed, is the mistaken motivations behind things, behind behaviors and thought patterns, that kind of stuff.
And I feel compassion for my mum now because on my mum's side of the family, looks have been very important. Like to my mum, to my sister, looks are very important, and I can see where it's coming from now because they've got programming that they need to be good looking to survive poverty. So I feel so much compassion for my mum, like because she's getting older now, and in my mum's words, because she's getting older, she's losing her looks. I know she says to me now, last time I saw her, that no men are interested now because she's getting old and losing her looks. And I can just see it's the program about looks and needing for it to be attractive, not to be poor, to avoid poverty. Because if you're good looking, you get money. So I just feel so much compassion for my mum. Like it's not her, it's not who she is. It's just the programming that she's got. Yeah.
So we honor our ancestors by acknowledging that it's not their fault and that they did the best they could under the circumstances.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like being in like the Victorian times and having no money and having to sell your body to get money for food for your kids. And then the guys pick the most attractive woman to pay. So you have to look attractive to get money for your food for kids. I can't imagine. So being in that situation, so compassion.
Yeah.
My ancestors. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's the compassion that heals everything.
It's gone deep. It's gone deep. A lot's been coming up.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank you personally for doing this kind of work. It's so necessary in our world today. Most people miss it.
Because it's not easy work to do. So I think that's why. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to see whatever I need to see. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Sid.
It's easy compared to the outcomes that we are choosing in many cases. Yet it is, we avoid it in the moment because of the difficulty, because of we don't want to see it. So in that, thank you, Ian. What a great story that connects to the already existing words of allowing. It's like allowing in and out, allowing compassion to come in, forgive and let go. And that's what's coming out. So allowing that out, just like the breath. It's as easy as the breath. So much better when it's done. And like what I can hold or see is all that resentment that we can hold on to and not be aware of. All those resentments. And I honor Heinz's word for manifestation, for manifesting. And it's like, and we manifest those patterns. And we manifest compassion. And it's when we can allow whatever it is, whatever word we want, allow it in and allow it out. Good morning, Sindrell. Welcome.
Good morning, Sindrell.
Morning, Sindrell.
Good morning, beautiful souls. Good morning. I see we're lifting consciousness of our values. And I appreciate the impression that our physical being, our body, how our bodies are. You use the term, I'm sorry, our body expression, image, you said body image. And what we think of our own body image to portray to the world, that in fact turns us back to say what we value in our body. Like we value what we think is valued externally. I've been struggling for a few days here because I'm writing a piece on women having a deep consciousness of who they are, regardless of external values, to know that, to nurture that for core, so we don't keep morphing into becoming something that is not our own internal definition of what we value. And it's been in the midst of like really wanting to leave something in writing in a way that someone who is struggling with being maybe appreciated, to learn to self-appreciate and be okay with that. And then I got a most devastating family experience of my niece, who's 23 years old, graduated from college, smart as a whip, learned to do Forex, and her average monthly take is 15,000 a month. Just doing it. It's just like easy, like for her. And somehow, somewhere along the way, she's met all of these external check marks of success. And she ends up, in my imagination, because we don't know exactly what people go through, is what I'm trying to make sense of piecing together to understand. And what I can, my mind is just like, I can't wrap my head around this thing, that she ends up being, I don't even know how it happens, married to somebody who's in prison through some pen pal phenomena. And this guy is able to work some psyche pen pal lettering, which gives him carte blanche into her mind and into her heart. And as far as we can understand, he set her up to be someplace waiting for his brother. And the guy kills her. It's like, what? Like he's going to be the recipient of her bank account and her insurance policy, so he has what he needs while in jail.
God.
The level of degree of manipulation and planning, of survival, that takes such utter beauty and advantage. It's like, how do you help people? How do you help someone like her when you think she's doing great, when you think she's doing fine? And then there's this vastness of lost identity that seeks identity and is satisfied with such a level of manipulation. Her whole life. And I have this yearning to get this kind of writing out and instilled, because you know what? I did the same thing in my marriage. I let my worth, my value, to be manipulated in an effort to express worthiness. By someone who was just surviving like a scavenger of souls of the earth. And this, I'm not even sure how to get this out to help. And I'm looking at my youngest daughter and I'm like, is any of this in you? That your heart longs to be loved, to be known, to be touched, to be satisfied. There's got to be a boundary, this imagery, whether it's heart image, body image, character image, I'm a good human being image. There must be self-value image. And how do you teach that when everything that we teach is an external, that you got to look nice, keep yourself neat and clean, get A's. And we don't teach internal self-heart image.
Mm.
I'm
Nobody,
gonna write that down. Sorry.
say that again, Ian.
Oh, I'm just gonna write that down. Internal self-heart image. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Mm.
I appreciate you all so much. I've been spellbound and nowhere to go to understand what's happening right now.
How can we understand something as pointless as doing it for the money?
Mm. Mm. I would agree with that, Lance.
It's probably what got him into jail at the first time. Something to do with money.
Exactly. So we looked this guy up and he is in prison for killing a young woman who graduated from an Ivy League school, and she was shot in her car, just like Egypt, my niece.
Oh, God.
This is his perpetual prey MO. I'm like, what would make her cling to that kind of person? I remember when I was in high school, I was part of a dance troupe, and we had a dance troupe in school, but we had an expanded version of that outside of school. And that expanded group met above a bar. So we had to go in the bar to the back of the bar, go up these stairs, and there was a big hall where we would work out. And I remember coming downstairs. I was sitting there with it was in the afternoon, sitting there with one of my other classmates, dear friend. And we didn't sit next to each other because we were like all sweaty and everything. And the attendant was setting up the bar for the evening. And he gave us sodas, to drink. We didn't know about electrolytes and stuff back then. We were just getting something to drink. And this man, oh, he was gorgeous. He sat down between us. And he was nice. He started talking. He paid for our drinks and, he started talking. And then he went into this spellbounding spiel. And I'm sitting there like I'm like total innocent. Talk about Cindy in the red coat. I'm just total innocence. And I mean, his talk was nice and smooth, and I mean, it really sucked you in. And all I remember the part of him saying, because it's like he was trying to to find like a weakness. And in that weakness, he started with, what is what bag of tricks is he going to talk out of? And one of the things he says, I'll be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. I'll provide for you things that you need, what you need. Now, this man just brought us a soda. So he's providing, right? And I was like, I'm good. I got a mother, a father, a sister, and a brother. And I went upstairs and I told my girlfriend, come on. And she listened. And I had to tug on her. I was like, come on, we got to go back up. Over time, she eventually ended up being a girlfriend to him, this older man. And she ended up working for him. And I was so glad that I had a mother, a father, a sister, and a brother. But what if I hadn't?
Mm.
So what's the antidote?
My immediate response was self-compassion.
I thank you.
I'm so sorry about your niece, Sandra.
I thank you.
My immediate thought was self-love and self-worth.
Mm.
I've been in that situation where you said about the guy saying be the mother, the father. With my ex, when I met my ex, he said that sort of thing to me, and we were together 10 years.
Mm.
Because I felt like I had no family and no support, and he promised me all that.
Mm.
Mm.
And honestly, I was just craving a love, someone to love me, someone to actually see me and love me,
Mm.
because I didn't love myself at that point. So I was looking for it externally. So I can relate. Thank you, Sandra. I love you.
Wow. But even when you love yourself, you're subject to seeking love of others. We're human, right? That's part of that humanness.
I feel that when you have self-love, because I'm learning at the moment, you're more selective of where you seek that love from. Like I've become, since I've loved myself more, I'm very selective who I surround myself with. I'm very selective who I seek that love off. Like I don't seek that love off my sister, off my mum and dad anymore. I'm very selective who I seek that love off. Like I come here because you guys are so loving and I feel the energy and yeah, but I become very selective where I seek that love from. Before I wanted to seek off anyone. Oh, I feel a bit of love of that person. Even though it's toxic love, they're still loving me. But yeah, I feel that that's the shift. You become more selective of where you seek that love from and who you seek it from.
Thank you. Mm. Attention is not love, not to be confused.
Mm.
It's like I'm going to give an example. Like with my sister, I love her, but every time she phones me, there's always an agenda. It's not from love. Like she never phones me just to say hi, Ian. How are you? I want to chat. She phones me, hi, Ian. How are you? Have you got $30 I can lend? Or hi, Ian. How are you? Can you look after the kids? There's always an agenda. So that I know that's not from love. There's always an agenda. It's never just to see how I am. But I've just accepted that's who she is. And there's always going to be an agenda, you know? And I've stopped trying to change it. It's her life, you know? But that's not love. So,
What we talked about earlier in this particular call is that these patterns are coming to light in this generation, and we tend to think they're personal, and they're actually not. They've been going on for sometimes thousands of years.
yeah, I used to think it was personal with my sister, but what I've come to see, she does it to every family member, not just me. She does it to my mum, my dad, my uncle. She doesn't do it to friends because if she does it to a friend, they can fall out with her. So she doesn't do it to friends because they're not family. But in my sister's eyes, because we're family, will always be there. Like, oh, he's my brother, he'll always be there. No matter how I treat him, no matter what agenda I have, he's always going to be my brother. Where if it's a friend can fall out of me and I'll never see him again. I'll have no tie. So she only does it to family members. But I've seen it as nothing personal. She does it to every single family member. And it's just a pattern. So, yeah, nothing personal.
Yeah, that's kind of a hint. When people feel it's okay to, to subconsciously think it's okay to, it's going to be okay to display this pattern in my family environment. A lot of this stuff is in our automatics.
I'd say it's all in the automatics, which is why working on your automatics is so valuable.
I've just been sitting here and listening and just getting insight after insight after insight on on that whole mechanism today. So thank you everyone for sharing. This is really good. No surprise. Lots of celestial energies are moving into Aquarius this month. Wave after wave after wave.
Central, I don't even know like what to say in the grief and the trying, like grasping to make sense of. Like that situation, I think of my daughter. So thank you for sharing.
Mm.
And in the question you asked, it escapes me now. In the story Ian shared, in my experience of, the best I could say, we've seen my insanity patterns. They all, like there's unlimited ways they can be expressed.
Mm.
There's unlimited ways they play out. And every time it can be uniquely different, we could say. And yet I can pull them back to the simplest ones. Is what makes me feel worthy, that I belong, that I'm good enough, that I'm okay, that I'm important, that I matter. And those are deep, deep inside yearnings that we aren't aware we need those words. We're looking for those solutions, and those solutions is what shows up in the unlimited, masked, deceiving, and beautiful. There are a few of those ways.
Mm.
When you said we teach our children all about properness, the material way, how to do, be, and act. And we're overlooking that internal urging, that internal desire, that internal validation.
Mm.
And when you asked, like, what is that? Or how do we do that? In the theme that everyone else was, it's our own. We have our self-power. Now, power, I don't like the word power, how it could be interpreted in that sense. But the fact that we have the power to give ourselves everything we need.
Mm.
And we have opportunities to share that with others. So it's rather than allowing it, like taking it in from someone else, them giving it, taking it in, thinking that's going to fix us, relieve us, ease us, complete us. we can stand in our wholeness and our completeness and give that out and share that with another someone that is coming from that same perspective. And for me, that is when we see our potential, our power, that it's we give it to us. We are it already. We are full, complete, whole,
Yes.
special, genius, compassion, love. We give everything we want to our, we can give everything we are wanted because it is only emotion. It is only in emotion that we are seeking. As many said, it is in the compassion. All in love. And that love word takes as many unlimited meanings, manipulations, heartache, and joy.
Mm. Joy
good.
and wonder.
That's good. Thank you for speaking that.
Mm.
And I'm sensed with the essential whatness of teaching and yet experiencing for self so that I can express it, that possibility to others, that no matter how much love I give you, I'm a reflection for you to see in yourself that you already have this love. And it's an eternal, internal love that you get to cultivate with your own power.
Mm.
Sit in it, be aware of it, recognize it, get familiar with it. And it's in your own breath. It's in your own choice emotion. You may see it in others as their walk of confidence. You know when you're in the presence of someone who carries their own light and they share it. Some don't share it, but you know when you're in the presence of someone who carries their own light. And when they share it and it's a beautiful light, you do enjoy being around that kind of person. But to teach that value, to teach that you're worth just sitting in the center of your own beingness.
I've got to shoot off now, but thank you all. I'll send a new nothing else. And thank you for sharing. Much love, everyone.
Thanks.
Much
Bye.
love, Ian. And even I, as a mature adult, that we each be able to sit in that power of that light so others' light can shine, or they can find their own light. And we don't have to suck the energy out of someone else. And we can let them not suck the energy out of us, but own our light.
And
Sindral, I'd like to share something with you that came to me as Jessie was talking. And it's part of my own experience. So I'm not sure how it will relate. But I sometimes I don't know how to really describe it, but when I'm in the moment of something, and it usually is at times when there's a bit of confusion for me, then I have this experience of watching myself. And when I described it before, it was always as if my body had died and I was looking back at my life. And my experience was of me assessing, I would say. But there was just this extreme sense of resolution, of dissolve, of compassion. Sometimes there was an edge of judgment in the beginning, or just like shaking my head, like, which is a form of judgment, like I can be so stupid. And the reason that I'm sharing it now is because I just had this feeling from when you were talking about what had happened to your niece, of her watching and her being with you in your grief.
Mm. Thank you. Mm. I had a glimpse of something of that for just a brief moment yesterday. Thank you.
these patterns, with these automatic patterns, I was thinking as you were sharing the Cinderella, talking about the light, sucking light from others, giving light, and as we teach ourselves, or we're taught the society structures, that we take what we need from others, or we get it from others. It's like a deep rooted pattern. And it appears from the scarcity mindset, the scarcity mentality, which if we take our history back, how difficult life was, it could only appear that way.
Mm.
And as I was thinking of our love tanks, we all have a love tank.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like our love tank is full or it's empty. If it's empty, we're going to be looking for others to fill up our love tank. It never will. Because those that are looking to fill it up don't have it. They're just as empty.
Mm.
Wow.
It is when two love tanks that are full, because we're working with people, with other humans together, is when the love tanks are together, are full. Neither one needs to fill each other. Now, yes, there is some supporting, but it's not a reliance on.
Mm.
I think that is what we yearn for as
Exactly.
humans.
Mm.
And we can get confused with those who want to fill up our tank. When it is only us, it is only the I, it is only the me that can truly fill that love tank.
Mm.
Nothing out there does or will.
Mm. It's something how one little word can change the full impression of an expression. From what you're saying, I'm getting this expression is called every tub must stand on its own bottom. But the rephrase for me would be every tub is made to stand on its own bottom.
Mm.
The word must makes you feel like by any means necessary, taking from others,
Mm.
needing from others. So craving to stand, you're like looking for what's going to complete your incompleteness. But no, we're actually made, created to stand on our own bottoms. And then when you talk about the tanks, I see an imagery, and I saw two tanks, and remembering the man at the bar trying to say, I'll be a mother, father, sister, brother. They're just full of a bunch of bullshit themselves, and they've got such an overflow of it that they will pour it into anything or anybody who will take it. And when we feel empty, we may think we need to just have something in our tank so that we're not empty. Yes. And some people receive pain as a sense of affirmation of being. And even love. Yes. and even in my own acceptance at this stage of my life where I feel like I'm open again to maybe peek out to receive that kind of love from somebody. I just can't take the wrong kind of gas in my tank. And I don't I keep my cap on and I grow it from within. And sometimes it doesn't feel full, but it's just an awareness of that and to sit back in the self-love I do have and honor that and protect that rather than for it to be mixed with something that's going to make me feel less. It has to be okay to be a mutual. Not where I need to be filled up, because when you need, it could be taken away at any time, but rather to be shared.
Mm.
So Allison, thank you for that image. I got the image of, you know, how before we were born, we are everything we are to be, and we come into this realm to be born of man. But I got this image of her immediately ascending back to her full capacity of greatness,
Mm.
a full tank, an angel tank full. And her wisdom, her fulfillment, teaching me right now how to live as a full tank and how to help other women of any age and men too, to sit in the value of growing self,
Mm.
that we share from the abundance of that growth and not from a need.
Mm.
I sat with my nephew last night and hugged. He hugged me, or we didn't sit, we were standing. He hugged me and I hugged him, and we must have stood there, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. There was so much communicated right there.
Mm.
And I let him know it was okay to hug me. And I let him know it was okay for me to receive his hug as well. And to break down, dissolve any barrier, but just to stand in love. To be okay to shed tears, to be okay to lose your breath,
Mm.
to be okay to breathe deeply, to be okay, however, the nakedness of being came to be, to process the shock.
Mm.
to let the trauma run its course on our psyche. To be strong in our weakness. Jesse, I caught something from what you were saying about you thinking of your own daughter, and I got an image of you being something more revealing, just being in her presence. That just you being in her presence emanated a spirit to her that and that you're honoring her, growing her own strength, sometimes awkward in her years of doing it, but you honoring her, giving her room, cheering her on, overseeing her learning to let her own light shine from within. Though she may walk and stumble and fall or say things blurtingly out of her mouth, it's all a part of her learning. And what greater for her to look in your eyes and she feeling the strength under her own legs to walk it out.
I love that image.
Spirit to spirit. The deep speaking to the deep.
I was wondering, like, where does that thought, that thinking come from, that it has to come from out there, like we get it from out there, that it can't be from in here. You know, it's like we're created with it in here. And what I was reminded was, just as a child, it's like we are helpless in a way. Like, we have parents that take care of us, that provide for us, if we're lucky, right? If it's part of that family that we're there, we have someone that we depend on for our survival. And it's like, there it is. From the very beginning, as a child, as a baby, right? It is what we know. And there's something deeper we know as well. It just gets covered up in this environment. I call it from birth on is a whole different experience, because we can remember that one easier. And then it's like if we're looking out there for people to provide for us, love us, nurture us, take care of us, and then we rely on what the world is telling us, what we're to do, how we're to do it, no wonder we can feel so incomplete on the inside. And we can put mass around that very easily. We learn to. And that for me today is blocking our heart, our truth, our love, our joy. That's blocking who we really are, our unique genius. That is, blocks our unique genius, which then blocks our gifts to the world, which then robs the world of our gifts, of our uniqueness, of our wholeness. And that is a disservice to the whole world. I choose to see life that way now. Otherwise, we'd have everyone running around doing the same thing, trying to fit into the same round hole, be the same person. If you think of it, if we're all trying to do what society tells us, in a sense, we're all trying to be this one thing. That is not a world that makes any sense. But a world where everyone can express, to be genuine, to be whole, to be complete, and to provide their genius to the world, their journey of their life. There's a long ways to go from where we are to that.
New beginnings.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it's not possible.
Absolutely not.
Hell, I started it, yeah. Meaning I started my journey. We started our journey.
Mm.
Yeah. We're a lot farther away from the younger ones, that we can share it with, to teach them that is what we think they could be. Shortcuts sooner. Because they're much closer. My children, the younger they are, they're much closer to that essence of who they really are. They just need to believe that they can trust it. And who do they listen to?
Or who do they watch? Yeah, who do they watch?
Yeah. Who do they pick their patterns from? Yeah, all of that.
Before we close today, I would like to just read this little refrain from a ceremony prayer. It goes like this: to the winds of the south, great serpent, wrap your coils of light around me Teach me to shed the past the way that you shed your skin, to walk softly on the earth. Teach me the way of beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you. I thank each one of your journeys, experiences, and showing up, sharing here together,
Mm.
breakthrough, and scatter to gather again, gather somewhere else, to spread it, to spread you, to seed you.
Mm. It's been beautiful. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Syndrome.
Thanks for a great day. You all have a blessed day.
Thank you,
love.
Hans. Thank you, Craig. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Allison. So, have a great day. May peace
Yeah,
go
it's
with
been an
you.
awesome day, everyone.
You too, Craig. Hines.
Love you, Syndrome.
I love you, Jesse.
Till next time.
Peace.
Bye.